Hi, good morning, everyone. We are talking about this day in history for January 23rd. We are live and ready to rock and roll, so here we go. January 23rd, 342 days left in the calendar year. We start out with the events of 393. Roman Emperor Theodosius I proclaims his 8-year-old son Honorius co-emperor. That happened so many years ago, I don't think anybody is still around to notice. Haha. Alright, so we're going to move right around 1,000 years ahead of time, maybe 12,000 years or 1,200 years ahead of time. And we're going to go to the deadliest earthquake in history, hit China, and 830,000 people are, that was the death toll there in China. 1556. In 1570, James Stuart, the first Earl of Moray, regent for infant King James VI of Scotland, is assassinated by a firearm. In 1571, the Royal Exchange opens up in London, England. In 1656, Blaise Pascal publishes his first Letters of Providence. In 1719, the Principality of Liechtenstein is created within the Holy Roman Empire. In 1789, Georgetown is founded in Georgetown, Maryland, now part of Washington, D.C. It's the first Catholic university. In 1793, the Second Partition of Poland. In 1846, we move on a few years, 50 years. Slavery in Tanzania is abolished. In 1849, Elizabeth Blackwell is awarded her MD by the Geneva Medical College in Geneva, New York, becoming the first United States female doctor. In 1849, look how far we came already. In Montana, cavalrymen kill 173 Native Americans, mostly women and children, in what becomes known as Maria's Massacre. In 1900, the Second Boer War, the Battle of Spine... now I'm totally going to mispronounce this. So there was a battle between the forces of South Korea and the Orange Free State, and British forces ended in a British defeat. A fire in a coastal town in Norway, 1904, is devastated by fire, leaving 10,000 homeless and 1 dead. Kaiser Wilhelm II funds the rebuilding of the town. In 1912, the International Opium Convention is signed by The Hague. 1920, the Netherlands refuses to surrender the exile Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany to the Allies. In 1937, the trial of anti-Soviet center folks sees 17 mid-level communists accused of sympathizing with Leon Trotsky and plotting to overthrow Stalin. Happened in 1937. 1941, Charles Lindbergh testifies before Congress and recommends that the United States negotiate a neutrality compact with Hitler. In 1943, the troops of Montgomery's 8th Army captured Tripoli in Libya from the German-Italian Panzer Army. 1945, German Admiral Karl Donitz launches Operation Hannibal. And I am not positive what Operation Hannibal is, so let's go a little insight on this. It was a naval operation. There you go. Involving the evacuation by sea of German troops and civilians. Alright. So that's what that was. Alright. In 1950, the Knesset resolves that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. In 1937, Walter Frederick Morrison sells the rights to his flying disc to the Wham-O toy company, which later renames it the Frisbee. In 1964, the 24th Amendment to the Constitution, prohibiting the use of poll taxes in national elections, is ratified. We had to wait that long. 1967, diplomatic relations between the Soviet Union and Ivory Coast are established. In 1967, Milton Keynes is founded as a new town by order of council, with a planning brief to become a city of 250,000 people. Now it's definitely a huge city. 1973, Richard Nixon announces a peace accord has been reached with Vietnam. In 1986, the Hall of Fame inducts the first members: Little Richard, Chuck Berry, James Brown, Ray Charles, Sam Cooke, Fats Domino, the Everly Brothers, Buddy Holly, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Elvis Presley. Now I'm going to go a little off the beaten path here, of what we got going on, because I'm going to give you guys who is now in the Hall of Fame. The list of inductees for this year. So I think that'll be very interesting. So here we go. The list of inductees for 2018. Bon Jovi, The Cars, Dire Straits, The Moody Blues, and Nina Simone are the ones that are in there now, or get put in 2018. I'm looking for others, but I don't see any others. Okay, so that's pretty cool. That's a good group there, and Bon Jovi's awesome. All right, Madeleine Albright, 1997, becomes the first Secretary of State, female Secretary of State. In 1998, Netscape announces Mozilla with the intention to release communicator code as open source. 2002, Daniel Pearl is kidnapped in Pakistan and murdered. 2003, a very weak signal from Pioneer 10 is detected for the last time. Pioneer 10. And in 2018, so this happened today, a 7.9 earthquake occurs on the Gulf of Alaska, is tied for the 6th largest earthquake ever recorded in the United States. Also, today, this day in history, the Oscar nominations were announced, and the Oscars have reached a new low in having Tiffany Haddish act a fool and be incredibly racist and stereotypical towards Hispanic performers and directors, as it was just a terrible deal. Let's go back to that Pioneer 10 thing. It was supposed to go through Jupiter. Very interesting. It actually had the duration mission of 30 years, 10 months, and 22 days. So that happened in 2003, by the way. So now we're going to go to births. These people were born this day in history. We go back to some of the really earlier ones, like Louis III, Elector Palatine, born in 1378. John Hancock was born in 1637, this day in history. We've always got a few, I always go down the list, see some that I recognize and talk about it right away. We have Bob Paisley, 1919. Ernie Koufax, actor and game show host, born this day in history. Now, I always look for the oldest person, and I think I found it. It is David Douglas Duncan, born this day in history, 1916, making him 102 years old today. So happy birthday to David. Way to go, celebrating that amazing birthday. It's Walter Frederick Morrison's birthday today too. He created the Frisbee. So that's really cool too. Bill Hayden, born this day in history. The Giant Bubba, Japanese wrestler, born this day in history. I always like to talk about the, I always like when I get to talk about the wrestlers. So that to me is pretty cool too. By the way, folks, it is MacGyver's birthday today. So I don't know how he's gonna get out of being a little bit older, but he might be able to figure it out. So happy birthday to Richard Dean Anderson, or as everybody else calls him, MacGyver. Morticia Hargitay, I probably said that wrong, but she's an amazing actress from Law & Order. Happy birthday to her. She was born in 1964. Tiffany Thiessen from Saved by the Bell, happy birthday to her. Amazing actress of that time, and really just cool stuff all the way around. And Luke Bateman, I want to give a big shout out to Luke Bateman. Happy birthday to you, sir. And now we're going to go to deaths, talk about a few people who died this day in history that kind of made it big. And first one I see is Arthur Guinness, died this day in history, 1803. Guinness Beer Company. So that's kind of a big deal. Bob Sheehan, who was Captain Kangaroo, died this day in history. One of my favorite actresses of all time, Nell Carter, died this day in history, 2003. Abdullah of Saudi Arabia died this day in history in 2016. And Bobby Freeman died this day in 2017. Ernie Banks also 2015. And another one, the last one I'll throw out there, Jack LaLanne, fitness instructor, lived to be 97 years old, and he still had really great abs at 97. I mean, he was just crazy. World Freedom Day today in South Korea and Taiwan. It's Bounty Day in the Pitcairn Islands. And we will see you guys very soon on thescottshow.com, this day in history. Thank you guys so very much. We'll catch you here real soon.